Hey nerdy knitters, if you're looking for a way to bust through some of your stash, hat knitting is the way to go. They're easy to knit. If you knit them in a simple rib pattern, they're really stretchy and will fit lots of different heads, and they make great last minute gifts. Best of all, with some basic measurements and some very simple calculations, you can grab any yarn in your stash and knit a hat without swatching and without a pattern once you understand the basic techniques and steps that you have to follow. Now, before we jump into our hat knitting project today, I just want to say, hey, I'm Tanya here at Nerdy Knitting. I'm a certified knitting instructor and a knitwear designer, and my goal is to help you become a confident, adventurous knitter. Now, first of all, you're going to need some basic supplies. You're going to need some yarn. In my sample, I used Koigu yarn, their Chelsea Aran yarn, and you're going to want between 100 and 150 grams of yarn. So no matter what weight of yarn you're using, if you have between 100 grams and 150 grams, that should be enough. With my hat, I wanted a brim that I could fold over, and I was knitting a bigger hat, so I knew I'd have to be on the larger end of that number to make sure I would have enough yarn. One caveat with your yarn selection: choose something that is made for hat knitting. Acrylic is fine. Wool and animal fibers are really great. Plant fibers like cotton and linen, there's no stretch and elasticity in those fibers, so they're not great for hats. So you want to get your yarn, and you're going to need needles suitable for that specific weight of yarn. So look at the yarn label, see what size needles they recommend. If you know you're a tight knitter, go up a size or two. And if you know you're a loose knitter, then go down a size or two. And you'll also want a second 16-inch circular needle in one size smaller than your main needle. And you'll also need double pointed needles to finish off the top of the hat, or you could do a magic loop or other small circumference size for the main needle that you're using for your yarn. And you'll need a tapestry needle to weave in your ends and a marker for your beginning of round. Now we need to do a little bit of measurements and math before we can cast on, but I promise it's not hard. We need three things. You're going to need the measurement for the head the hat is for, the stitch gauge for the yarn that you're using, and the additional ease that you'd like to include in the hat. We're going to break down each of these so you know exactly what we're talking about. Now, the first thing you want to do is measure the head of the person who will be wearing the hat. You're going to measure around the forehead, just above the ears, and then from the crown of the head to just below the ears, or wherever you'd like the hat brim to end up. If you can't measure the head of the recipient of this hat, then you can head to the Craft Yarn Council and use their standard measurements. That will give you a really good starting idea of what size you're looking at for that person. And then once you have these measurements for the circumference of the head and the length of the hat, you're going to write them down. The next step in the process is to find the 1-inch stitch gauge for the yarn you're using. So you can check your yarn label. If you don't have it anymore, you can search for that yarn online on yarnsub.com or on ravelry.com, and they'll usually have the gauge measurements even for discontinued yarns on one of those websites. If the yarn is listed in 4 inches or 10 centimeters or any other measurement, just divide that stitch number by that measurement, and that will give you the 1-inch stitch gauge. Now, if you really want to be exact, you could knit a swatch and knit 1 purl 1 rib and take your own gauge measurements from that. But because this hat's in rib and that's really stretchy, so it should fit a lot of different head sizes, then we're going to skip the swatch. I'm a bit lazy, and when it comes to a hat, I figure that's not much bigger than a swatch anyway. But I don't mind tearing it out and starting again if it's really too small or too big. But if that's a problem for you, then you might want to swatch. Now, once you have this 1-inch stitch gauge measurement, you're going to want to write that down too. The next step in this process is to figure out how much ease we want to have in our hat. Now, ease is just the amount of space between the fabric and the body, in this case, between the hat and the head. With hats, we generally want some negative ease to keep it on our head and not falling down in our face. We'll use a few sweaters as some examples here. Sweaters can have negative ease where they're very tight fitting, like the Montrealer pullover. They can have little to no ease and just fit the shape of the body, like Andrea Mowry's So Faded, or they can be slightly oversized or even really oversized, like Locatelli's Boxy. And we use these same considerations with other garments. Socks should always have negative ease or they're going to slide off your feet. The same goes for hats. So for our hat, we want either no ease, because the knit 1 purl 1 rib is going to give us plenty of negative ease already, or we can add some ease if we want the hat to be a little bit slouchier. Now, if you go with the no ease route, in general, this means that hat is going to fit fairly tightly because that knit 1 purl 1 rib really pulls in quite a lot. But if you add 2 to 3 inches of positive ease, then it's still going to pull in and it will fit nicely without being very tight. And for an even slouchier hat, you could add even 4 or more inches of ease. Since the knit one, purl one rib pattern provides plenty of negative ease, we've got some room to play with adding some additional ease to our hat. Once you've decided how much ease you want to add, you can write that down as well. Now that we have all our measurements and calculations, we're going to use that information to do some simple math to figure out our stitch count. Now, if you're not planning to add any additional ease, all you need to do at this point is multiply that number you have for measuring around the head, the circumference of the head. Multiply that by your 1-inch stitch gauge, and that will give you your rough cast on number. Now, if you're adding some ease, you have a 2-step process here. You have to add that additional ease to the head measurement. In the case of my hat, I added 3 inches of ease to my 22-inch head measurement, which gave me 25 inches. Once you have that measurement, you can multiply that by your 1-inch stitch gauge. Now that we have that rough number, we need to round it to an even number. Because we're working in knit one, purl one rib, we need an even number. So if your calculation was an odd number, just round it up or down 1 stitch. There, the math is all done. Now it's time to cast on. First thing you're going to want to do is cast on, and we start our cast on with a slip knot. I'm just wrapping the yarn on my fingers and pulling the second loop right through. If you need a longer video about that, you can check out this video right here that explains that. And then we're going to use the alternate cable cast on, but we need to start with a sort of a setup stitch. We insert our right needle as if we're to knit and pull that stitch through, and holding our needles parallel, put that stitch on the needle, and that is our setup. Then we can actually start working our alternate cable cast on. You insert between the 2 stitches from the back. We're going to treat this like a purl stitch, and we wrap our yarn as if we're going to purl, being careful not to use the tail. This can be a bit tricky for these first few stitches, and pull that stitch through. Hold your needles parallel and place that new stitch on the needle. After that, we begin this process again, but for a knit stitch. Hold the yarn to the back like you're going to knit, and you're going to insert your needle between the 2 stitches, but this time from the front, and make sure you get between the stitches and not in a stitch. Wrap the yarn as if to knit, pull it through, place that new stitch on the needle. And you just repeat this process, creating a purl stitch and then a knit stitch across the row until you've cast on all the stitches you need, and you'll end with a knit stitch. Now, if you want a full tutorial about this particular cast on that helps you walk through some other things that makes it easier to know how to work the stitches and where you left off, then you can check out this video right here. So you'll just continue this process until you've cast on all the stitches you need, and this is an easy, invisible cast on method. I'm just finishing up my last few cast on stitches, and then it will be time to join in the round. So after you've cast on all your stitches, just make sure they're not twisted around the needle, and I like to keep all of the cast on edge stitches along the inside so we can just make sure nothing's twisted. And then you place a marker for the beginning of the round, and I don't do anything special for the cast on. I just pull the stitches up on the needle, get the yarn in the right place, get the tail out of the way, and then just start knitting. I do try to knit those first few stitches on every round a little more tightly to close up that gap. And you'll see after you work a few rounds, as long as you work them tightly, then everything closes up. There's nothing you have to do extra here at the beginning to start joining in the round. So I'll knit that first stitch, give it a little tug to tighten it up, and then start my pattern. Purl 1, and then knit 1, and then continue that across the round until you get back to that marker, and you've established your knit 1, purl 1 pattern, and you're going to keep following that pattern for the whole length of the hat. However long you like your hat to be, you'll just keep working this knit 1, purl 1 rib pattern after you've set it on this very first round. Now I'm coming up on the end of my round. You can see the marker is right there, those last few stitches, my final purl 1, and now the pattern is set. Once you finish that, you can see there's still quite a big gap even though I worked that tightly. So I'm just going to keep working that first stitch. I just give it a little tug, you can see right there, before I continue following the pattern. And here's the end of that round. You can see that there's still a little gap, not quite as bad as the first round, so I'll work this one tightly as well. And that's going to close it right up. And then when we come back at the end and weave in the ends, you can use the tail to close up any final gap. And after working a few more rounds, we're going to switch to our larger needles. I think I'm at about the mark that I'd like to be, anywhere between 1.5 to 2 inches in length on the smaller needle size. Then we'll switch to our larger needles. And yep, I'm at about 1.5 inches, so that's a good point to switch to the larger needles. And all I'm going to do is just simply start knitting the stitches with the normal needle size I want to use for this yarn. We start with a smaller needle size to keep our stitches, the cast on edge, from flaring out. If we just use the same size needles all the way through, then in rib you can get this weird flare along the edge, and I like to avoid that. So we start with a smaller needle size for that first section, and then we can switch right to our normal needles. So I'm just going to knit these stitches onto my larger needle. Then I'll place the marker for the beginning of the round, and I'm just going to keep knitting this hat until it's as long as I want, which is basically all of the yarn. I just want to use it all up, and I have probably a little less than 100 grams in this skein of yarn. So I'm just going to keep knitting until I have what I figure is enough to finish the final few rows where we're going to decrease for the crown. So I'll see you back here for that bit. So I've reached the end of my yarn and I'm ready to work on the decrease rounds for the hat, but we need to do a little setup here. On our very last round before we start our decreases, we're going to move that marker over by 1 stitch. So slip that final purl stitch to your right needle, remove the marker, slip that stitch back to the left needle, and then put the marker back on. And that just gets us set up for our decreases. We want to work knit 2 togethers around, and it's better to do that on the knit stitch, and those purl stitches hide in behind. And that way our knit 1 purl 1 rib pattern really isn't interrupted. Those purl stitches are hidden, so it just looks like the pattern's continuing right around. So we're just going to knit 2 together all the way around to decrease our stitches by half. Now I've done my first decrease round, and we're going to repeat that decrease round, but we're going to have to switch to DPNs because there's just not enough stitches for our circular needle. So I'm just going to knit 2 together around, but I'm going to use my double pointed needles for this round. So I've completed my second decrease round, and I'm going to do a third decrease round. I had a lot of stitches and I don't want a lot of stitches to close up at the top. So I'll repeat this decrease round, but this part is really personal and up to you how many rounds you want to do to decrease the hat crown. I'm just doing the knit 2 together again. This will be the third time, and then I'm just going to pull the tail through the final stitches that are left. But you can do as many decrease rounds as you want, or you could even put some plain rounds in between. It's totally up to you. It depends really on how many stitches you have for your hat. I had quite a few stitches, so 3 decrease rounds worked really quickly. Close up the top and give it sort of a gathered look and doesn't really interrupt the knit 1 purl 1 rib pattern too much. So I finished that final round, and I'm going to pull this yarn tail through those final stitches to close up the top. So just leave a long tail and cut it, and grab a tapestry needle, one that's the appropriate size for the yarn that you're using, and you're going to thread it onto that yarn tail. And then you're just going to continue working in the round like where you left off on that last stitch. You'll just go to the next needle. You're just going to slip those stitches off the needle and right onto that tapestry needle and thread that yarn tail through those stitches. Just pull it right through. And continue until you've done that for all the stitches. And at this point, if you want a little more security, you could run it right through all of the stitches again. That's really a personal choice. It's up to you. And then after you've finished, I like to put it right down through the center of the hat and pull it tight, and then weave in that end on the inside of the hat. Now we're just left with that beginning yarn tail. So we're going to weave that onto our tapestry needle. And I like to sort of mimic the edge as much as possible so I can see which way it needs to go to keep things evened up, and just insert it where it looks like it'll close up that gap and be as invisible as possible. And then back where the tail originated, I like to go back the other way as well. And then to weave in a rib pattern is really simple. I just like to run it up one leg of the rib on the inside and then maybe down another side to really secure it. And that is plenty to secure that yarn tail right along that edge. So you can see right there, I'm just going to run it up the stitches on one side, and then I'll repeat the process coming down the other way, and that will really hold it in very nicely. And after you've woven in the ends, your hat is done and it's ready to be given a quick wash and dried and then worn on your head. And that is how you knit a hat with any yarn and without a pattern. Now, if you have any hat knitting tips that you'd love to share with me, I would love to hear about them. So please leave me a comment and tell me about them. And if you're looking for tips from other knitters, be sure and go check out those comments. And if you're looking for even more fun knitting tutorials, check out this playlist right here.